Good afternoon. Today, our team is excited to have the opportunity to pitch to the America's Future Series and tell you about our new best-in-class application security solution with our zero vulnerability technology. We are a team of accomplished business entrepreneurs, technical innovators who have been on the physical and cyber front lines of America's continued global leadership position. Our cybersecurity solution was born out of years of PhD research by our technical co-founders that was funded by AFRL and the intelligence community. Our CTO, Tim Pottinger, is a former PhD student at Vanderbilt University who has 5+ years experience at places such as NASA, the White House, and Cisco. Our strategic R&D officer and younger twin to Tim is Brad Pottinger. He is currently a senior exploitation researcher at Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab. He has won 2 Best Papers Award from the NSA for his cybersecurity research and frequently briefs officials at the highest level of the U.S. government on cyber and national security issues. My name is Michael Bryant, and I am the CEO of ARM Cyber. Most recently, I was the director for the Center for Entrepreneurship at Vanderbilt University, and my tech background comes from Amazon and Techstars. Prior to that, I was an officer in the U.S. Marines.
Everyone in the America's Future Series ecosystem knows the grave threats posed to our economic and national security if we do cybersecurity poorly. Right now, we are focusing on the vulnerabilities that arise because software is similar. If you are able to conduct reconnaissance and find a vulnerability, that vulnerability can be applied globally to every system running that same application. You hack one, you have hacked them all. So how do you defend against a well-resourced, patient, and smart adversary? The answer is an adaptive defense in-depth approach utilizing intelligence software scrambling. ARM Cyber's zero vulnerability technology defends against nation-state hackers by shuffling code at runtime at the application level. Think radio frequency hopping for software, or whack-a-mole, or even moving the goalposts. By constantly moving code and also vulnerabilities around, hackers not only will be forced to invest vast amounts more of time, money, and resources, but in the rare instance they can find a vulnerability, it will not be able to propagate across similar applications on the network. For example, if a vulnerability is found on line 100 of application number 1, that vulnerability has been shifted in application number 2 to a random location such as line 122,641. Attackers can no longer hack millions of systems by finding one vulnerability in an application and then exploiting them across all machines with the same application. The attacker is forced to start all over again for each application. This in effect removes the attacker's ability to pivot to other identical applications. The NotPetya attack that started on the Ukrainian power grid and ended up shutting down Maersk across the world would not have been possible with our technology applied. Our zero vulnerability technology has 3 underlying technical capabilities. First is static randomization and reinforcement learning micropatching. This hybrid approach applies micropatching to known vulnerabilities and a one-time randomization to protect against zero-day attacks. Second is runtime re-randomization. This is continuous automated randomization. There are 2 types of re-randomization, with the first being risk-based. If any predetermined risk factors that indicate an attack is imminent or currently happening, the application will automatically randomize. There is also time-based re-randomization, which is the most secure, which randomizes the code at a predefined time. Right now, we can randomize every 10 seconds. That means an attacker needs to identify a vulnerability, craft and deploy an exploit in 10 seconds before that piece of code moves elsewhere in the application. Lastly, we can apply this technology to trap enclosures, which protects against ransomware attacks. How are we doing this better than any other competitor on the market? Here's the math to prove our point. In randomization, not every gadget can be moved. Those gadgets that don't move are the key to how effective randomization is. Our tests compared the most state-of-the-art randomization methods such as ASLR, polymorphic randomization, which uses multi-compiler, binary stirring, which uses self-rando, and our randomization methods at ARMS. In this example, we do the math showing an average exploit that contains 5 gadgets. So these equations predict the probability of a successful attack. ASLR does the worst at 85% chance of a successful attack. Polymorphic randomization is still awful with 65% success rate. Using polymorphic, 90% of the gadgets are never even moved. Binary shuffling is better at 31%, but still ineffective as 75% of the gadgets don't move. At ARMS, only 2% of gadgets are not moved, which leads to the chance of successful attack with a 5-gadget exploit of 0.000016%. That translates to, if you have 100,000 devices, about 1.6 could be successfully hacked. Our vision on how this changes the cybersecurity landscape and provides DoD with a new ace in the hole when protecting against nation-state hacks. First is application security, which is relevant to solving DoD's legacy software problem, and there are many systems still running today in the DoD that were written in the 1970s. Our technology would harden these applications without breaking them. Other use cases involve weapon systems, UAVs, satellites, and any instance where large numbers of identical software systems are deployed on the physical and cyber battlefield. Data security includes distributed data storage strategies for mitigating exfiltration. Communication security includes API security and ensuring confidentiality and integrity of data in transmission. This is very relevant for 5G communications. We have 3 asks from the America's Future Series community: connecting with primes for potential partnerships, connecting with government tech scouts, and connecting with venture capital firms who focus on cybersecurity and SaaS. Thank you for your time and look forward to connecting.